scary towns, endless dungeons, and wacky hospitals. It's been a colourful week in sci-fi. America's scariest small town is back. New games on space stations, starships, and hospitals. And our North American correspondent looks behind the Oscars. Welcome to Eye on Sci-Fi, I'm Raymond Bedora. Local streaming service Stan has announced a date for Season 2 of sci-fi horror series From. It's set in a nightmarish town in Middle America that traps everyone who enters, with the unwilling residents spending their days trying to escape and their nights protecting themselves from the terrifying nocturnal creatures emerging out of the surrounding forest. Season 1 picked up 2 nominations at the last Saturn Awards for Best Horror Series and the Best Actor for Harold Perrineau. Season 2 is expected to reveal hidden truths about the town and its origins, as well as introducing mysterious newcomers. Season 1 of From is available now on Stan, with Season 2 premiering April 24. A release date has been announced for a tower defense game, Endless Dungeon, a successor to 2014's Dungeon of the Endless. Despite the name, the game is actually set on an abandoned space station, which a player-controlled squad of 3 characters sets out to explore. Their goal is to protect a crystal bot as it moves towards the bulkhead door for each level. There are 8 playable characters to choose from, and you can either go solo, playing one character and commanding the others, or 2 friends can join you in co-op mode. There are 10 levels, and each is procedurally generated, containing rooms with resources to help with the game, or hordes of enemies intent on destroying the crystal bot. Endless Dungeon releases on May 18 for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC via Steam and Epic. Nintendo Switch will follow later. In animation news, Batman has just been rescued by Amazon, but this time it's not Wonder Woman, but the tech giant's streaming service. Last year, HBO cancelled in-development series Batman Caped Crusader, and Amazon have snapped it up with a 2-season order. It has an impressive pedigree. EP's Bruce Timm from Batman the Animated Series, Matt Reeves from The Batman, and J.J. Abrams, and seeks to recapture the spark of Timm's popular 1990s series. There's no ETA, but having been announced in May 2021, the series was likely in development for at least a year before it was cancelled. We'll keep you updated. Co-op Starship Simulator Void Crew has been unveiled. We love a good Starship sim, and this one promises thrilling missions in deep space, battling hostile aliens and the screw-ups of your crew. Players can take on a variety of roles on board the ship, or even EVAs, to scavenge derelict wrecks. You can even customize your spacesuits. Gameplay graphics look ambitious for a spaceship sim, so it will be interesting to see if this game launches this year as promised, or joins the many recent titles that have announced delays. We'll keep you updated. Still in space, and an announcement trailer has been released for comic sci-fi hospital sim Galacticare. You play the new director of the hospital, located in a weird and wacky corner of the universe, rife with death and disease. Responsibilities include designing the hospital and hiring staff to treat a wide range of spectacular conditions while dealing with volcanic planets and psychotic alien deities. What could go wrong? The comedy alien hospital concept sounds similar to new animated series The Hospital, in development by Amazon, which follows 2 intergalactically renowned surgeons as they tackle anxiety-eating parasites, illegal time loops, and deep space STIs. Galacticare is coming to Xbox, PlayStation, and PC via Steam and GOG later this year. No ETA on the hospital yet. We'll keep you updated. And joining us now for the latest from Hollywood is North American correspondent Christian Baines. Thanks for joining us, Christian.
My pleasure, Raymond. Always nice to be here.
So it's been a busy award season, and we've just come off the back of the Oscars, where genre films have had huge success. especially one film in particular. What do you think about the performance of genre films this year?
I think it's been a great year for genre films, particularly with Everything Everywhere All at Once winning a massive 7 Oscars out of 10 nominations. For a sci-fi film, particularly one that is so weird and one that basically came up with so much passion from an independent studio, A24, just as kind of a passion project for everyone involved. It's been terrific to watch that movie grow and gain momentum over the year. It was released well removed from Oscar season. I don't think anyone was looking at it as an Oscar contender until it really refused to go away. And by the time we arrived at the nominations and Oscars night, there was really no way it wasn't going to do extremely well.
So the film itself obviously won Best Film. Michelle Yeoh won Best Actor. But let's talk about the controversy around Jamie Lee Curtis winning Best Supporting Actor.
This is a little bit of the controversy around Jamie Lee Curtis, I think, is a little bit of a storm in a teacup. The source of this is there is a very strong contingent of Angela Bassett fans who were obviously Team Angela and can totally understand that. Angela, they're both icons in their own right. And Angela Bassett, of course, was nominated for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. There were those who felt that a win for her would be a nice fitting tribute to Chadwick Boseman, but that's not really how the Oscars work. You've got to remember that the award for actors is always voted on by actors. It's not voted on by directors. It's not voted on by the rest of the Academy. It's voted on by the actors branch, which is composed entirely of actors. And I honestly don't know how much of a splash Wakanda Forever actually made in the broader sense. It didn't sort of cross over into our imaginations the way the original Black Panther did. Remember when we saw Black Panther for the first time, we had never seen art like that. We had never seen production design like that. This whole uncolonized future Africa was this, brilliant thing to watch unfold. Now we're familiar with that scene. So Wakanda Forever had to bring something quite different to the table, and there was a bit of a lukewarm response in that it was very much it was a very professionally made film, but very much within the Marvel wheelhouse. There weren't a lot of real surprises there. So look, I think when it comes down to Jamie Lee Curtis and Angela Bassett, either of them winning would have been a prize for a body of work. They're both brilliant performers. They're both icons in their own right. But all the momentum on the night really was with Everything Everywhere All at Once. And the Academy loves to set, if not records, at least high numbers. And like we said before, a sci-fi film winning 7 out of 10 nominations, that is fantastic. And that'll lift the entire genre. And I think Angela's night is still to come.
Now, let's turn to Star Trek, where we've had news that season 5 of Discovery will be its last. How do you think the fandom is feeling about this news?
I think the fandom will have the same reaction they have had to Discovery for the last 4 years. It'll be a very mixed reaction. Discovery has its fans who absolutely love it, and it has its detractors who have never really warmed to its atypical Star Trek format. The shifting roster of lead characters made it an interesting series to try and follow. It's a serialized story that spans quite a lot in those 5 seasons. But you've got to remember, it doesn't feel like a cancellation. We're not in the 90s anymore. 7 series for a successful sci-fi is an exceptional run. 5 is far more typical, particularly in a streaming environment. Do I think it's been cancelled in response to the lukewarm reception it's gotten from some fan quarters? I think that may be wishful thinking on the part of those fan quarters. And yeah, there's not a lot more to say about that, even if William Shatner's got more to say about Discovery. We noticed on the poster that was recently released promoting the franchise as a whole, instead of Kirk on the poster, we had Spock and Uhura. There's some speculation that there is backlash to that in response to, or that absence of Kirk, rather, was a response to William Shatner's perceived negativity around some of the new Star Trek series. I think it has more to do with the fact that Kirk and Spock and Uhura are part of this incredibly successful series, and Star Trek just wants to connect its legacy characters with its current hits, and you can't really blame them for that. I mean, look at what has happened with the third season of Picard. Now, Picard, of course, was only supposed to go for 3 seasons, and fans are loving the return of the TNG characters to that darker, more reflective Trek world that suits characters who are much older and looking back with regrets and strong feelings about life. Not everyone's satisfied with the new series of Picard, of course, but some fans would have preferred the plot lines that were introduced in Picard to be resolved. But I don't think there's very many complaining about the integration of some of these legacy characters. And to give that overall lovely connectivity of 50 coming up on 60 years of Star Trek, I think it leaves the franchise in really great shape.
And in reference to what you were saying about Shatner being excluded from the post, he was quoted as saying that Gene would be rolling in his grave. Do you think Gene would be rolling in his grave at the current slate of Star Trek offerings?
It's hard to know how anyone would react who sadly passed so early in their creation's lifespan. But I think he'd be very proud of what Star Trek has become, how far it's reached out, and the fact that we now have so many Star Trek series, each of which are serving a different audience. That's the wonderful thing at the moment, the fact that there is literally a Star Trek for everyone right now.
Now, you could almost say the same thing when it comes to Star Wars television shows and the success that they're receiving, but we haven't seen much in the way of Star Wars films. The last one, of course, being released to not much fanfare and maybe not as successful as Disney had hoped. So, what is the direction of Star Wars?
The direction of Star Wars, I think my personal prediction on that is that they'll be doubling down on their small screen success. The Mandalorian has been a massive hit. Andor has been a hit. They seem to be going from strength to strength through Disney Plus and streaming, but trying to catch that lightning on the big screen. Of course, the golden goose for Disney when they first acquired Star Wars was China. And when Star Wars completely failed to take off in that market, they had to reevaluate. Then you had a lot of fan backlash to Last Jedi, and then further backlash again with with the Rise of Skywalker. I mean, Disney just hasn't had, aside from that initial Western success of The Force Awakens, Disney has had a rough run since it took over Star Wars for the big screen. So they'll be looking to those small screen successes as much safer, much more reliable sources of income and sources of subscription.
Now, another huge property for Paramount Plus, Halo, is returning for its second season. Do you think it's going to be a successful show for the platform moving forward?
I think everything depends on this second season. The first season, when it premiered last year, got a bit of a split response. But Paramount were so confident in the series that from the outset that they greenlit season 2 before season 1 had even premiered. So Paramount Plus, of course, wants to become, has every reason to want to become the home of sci-fi. Apple is, as we've discussed on this program before, is their biggest challenger for that. But Paramount Plus will want that crown. They are the Star Trek studio. They want to be an essential subscription for sci-fi fans. So they have rolled out some huge hits on what is a relatively new service, and Halo fits in very well to that. Season 2 started shooting in September of last year, and it's expected to drop in mid to late 2023. I think if reactions remain split, that could spell the end of the series, and they may, whether they go out strong or go out, with a bit of a whimper in the hope of a third season, that remains to be seen. But personally, I really enjoyed what I've seen of the series so far, and it wouldn't surprise me if we did see a season 3 greenlit.
Thank you so much for joining us, Christian. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure, Raymond. Always a pleasure to be here.
And that was the week in sci-fi. For more news throughout the week, go to ionsci-fi.com.